Okay, good evening, everyone. We're here for a regular scheduled Newmarket School Board meeting. It's November 21st, 2019. Welcome, everybody. We'll start the meeting, as all else, with a pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll begin the meeting with public comment. If anybody would like to make a statement, please approach the podium and kindly speak into the microphone. Per board policy, we do have a 3-minute rule. Seems that we'll need it here tonight. We have a lot of speakers, so please approach.
Hello, my name is Tom Thomas. I'm a father of 2 children here in the school district. I'm here to stress the importance of our paraprofessionals and support staff to the entire community and ask that we support them to the greatest extent. Our paraprofessionals and support staff work tirelessly to enable our students with the greatest needs to succeed academically and socially. Other students have special needs that require constant attention and care. And for the parents of children who aren't assigned a para, they're there to support your children too. They work with all the children in their classroom, run reading and math groups, supervise recess and lunch, and get all the students on and off the bus safely. Paras often arrive early to prepare for the day and stay late when the buses are not on time. Paras will often teach the class if the teacher is unavailable or absent. Last year, our teachers received a well-deserved contract that helped to bring them on par with other districts in the area. Currently, the paraprofessionals and support staff are negotiating next year's contract. I am challenging the community, the superintendent, and the school board to support our paraprofessionals and support staff through these negotiations toward a contract for them that increases their wages and improves their working conditions in a way that supports the work they do for our children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Roy Tobin. I live on Mockingbird Lane, and I have 3 kids in the school system. I've spoken to audiences of over 1,000 at conferences before, but I don't think I've ever been as nervous as I am right now. So I'm going to try to take a deep breath here. I don't usually use notes either, but I thought it was important tonight to do so. Dr. Givens, members of the school board, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm sure you've gathered by the attendance at tonight's meeting that while the agenda is important, particularly the last topic that we just talked about, I don't think that's the reason that the majority of people in the audience are here today. I'm here to talk about Mr. Mazzoni. And let me start by reiterating to you both, Dr. Givens, Mike, and other members of the school board, as I've said on phone conversations with both of you, I have no interest in finding out the details of why Mr. Mazzoni is not at the school. I am very aware of and believe in the right to privacy as it pertains to situations like this, and I expect most others agree with me with that as well. So I hope that that's not something that will come up today. So I'm here to show support for Mr. Mazzoni. I've already shared with you, again, Dr. Givens and Mike, the incredible impact that Mr. Mazzoni has had on my life and the lives of my 3 kids. I'm happy to share those stories with anyone else who might be interested, but that's not how I want to use my time tonight. I'm here to share concerns. And I could talk about my concerns that I have for the students, again, 3 of which are my own children, the distraction that this has created, and the divide that it is creating now, as was evident by some exchanges that happened at school today between people who consider themselves friends, but are very divided on this topic. So I'm concerned about that as a distraction. I could talk about my concerns about the morale of the faculty and the staff at the school. There have been several who've reached out to me and expressed that. And I'm hoping others will actually take up those concerns if they have them as also. The concern I'm here to express this evening is the concern I have for Mr. Mazzoni's health and well-being. While I agree it's none of anyone's business why Mr. Mazzoni is out, it is his. And to this day, he has not been given the reason why he is on leave. I've done a little bit of sleuthing, and it seems that it is within your power, Dr. Givens, to do that with the approval of the school board. So I'm not here to debate the policy. What I am here to express is how deeply disappointed I am in the complete lack of empathy demonstrated in these actions. While Mr. Mazzoni does not live in Newmarket, he is a very highly recognized member of our community. His life partner works in our school system. He has children who no longer go to Newmarket, but they too have access to social media, and if not directly, they are hearing things from their friends. And he is being asked questions now by his kids that he can't answer. I can only imagine as a parent how difficult it must be to stay upbeat and positive at a time when your whole world has been turned upside down. I can only imagine how being out for the past 2 weeks, not knowing how this will all play out, I imagine he's not had a lot of sleep. I imagine he was devastated not to be, in fact, I know that he was devastated not to be at the soccer finals in Laconia, to cheer on his mules like he is at all the other student events. I imagine it tears him apart to know that there are things happening at the school, the day-to-day challenges of managing a junior high and high school population that he can't help address, and that there are students who are looking for him and he is not there. One of my proudest accomplishments in my professional career was a project I was deeply involved in called Moments That Matter. Without going into detail, because I'm not sure anybody's really interested in it, I'll share with you in a nutshell that with a great deal of research done by a very large professional services company that I work for, it showed us that we encounter moments every single day that we can make matter. And what we did is we identified what the moves are, the 10 most impactful moves or actions that people can take in order to capitalize on and make those moments matter. The number one move in all of the research that we did, and I'm talking tens of thousands of clients and employees that we spoke to, the move was walk in their shoes. It is a sign of empathy. I would ask each of you to take a moment to think about the devastating impact that this has had on Mr. Mazzoni's well-being as well as his family. And I would ask that you put yourself in his shoes. I realize that his privacy is of the utmost importance, but so is the empathy that we show him. Thank you.
Does anybody else have a public comment?
My name is Navya Couture, and I'm a senior at the high school.
My name is Morgan Hawk, and I'm a junior at the high school.
And we're speaking on behalf of Chloe Tobin, who is unable to make it today due to varsity basketball practice. And I'm going to be reading what she wrote. I felt more like than just a student since I've had Mr. Mazzoni in school. He makes the school days that sometimes feel impossible possible. There are thousands of wonderful things I could say about this man. If someone asked me no one word to describe him, I would say hero. Through my time at Newmarket Senior High School, Mr. Mazzoni has been here for my brothers, and I thought through many difficult times. The most recent example occurred this past December. My stepdad passed away from a sudden heart attack. I'm here to say he's the reason my two brothers and I got through school last year with a smile on our face. He is the reason I walked into school in the morning. I knew if I needed to cry, he was there. I knew that if I became extremely anxious, I could take a walk out of class and take some breaths. This was because Mr. Mazzoni went out of his way to reach out to my brother and I's teachers to allow this. Mr. Mazzoni offered support to us in any way possible. Some mornings were not easy at home, with a lot of change. There were countless days my brothers and I would be almost late but Mr. Mazzoni offered to take our bags when we walked through the doors, which helped us get to class on time. As he was doing all this for my brothers and I, he was also being there to save, help, and give a spirit to the rest of the student body. The amount of students whose lives he has positively impacted is incredible. He never had to do these things. He could have chosen to be like just any other principal and do their job, and so be it. He is more than a man with a job. He's a man with a job that performs it exceptionally well. He knows all of the students' names. He takes time to know us, make us feel like we are important. The last time I remember seeing Mr. Mazzoni, he had asked our entire high school what they would like to see changed and improved in our school building. This meant a lot to us. Most admin in schools, and I know, don't ask for the students' opinions. Our voices are heard because of him. Mr. Mazzoni is the life of the school. We need him, we want him, we miss him. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Karen Paulzanetti, 8 Stonewall Way. It is very nerve-wracking to get up here and speak. I'm not really sure why, but anyways, I wouldn't feel good if I didn't get up tonight to speak in regards to Mr. Chris Mazzoni. I was fortunate enough to sub many days at the high school, and I knew Chris was a good principal. I didn't understand what a great principal and a great leader he is of that school. As the two young ladies that were just here spoke about him knowing everyone by name, he knows not only every student by name, he knows what motivates them, what makes them tick, what makes them happy. He is there for solid support, and some of these kids don't get support from home, but he's always there to greet them, to smile, to do whatever they need to have done, but he's also fair and holds the kids accountable. I don't know how the man does what he does every day, so if he forgot to cross a T or dot an I in some crazy policy that maybe he didn't do perfectly, it's because he was spending his time taking care of what's the most important thing in that building, and it's the students. I feel safe sending my kids to school. I've never seen someone that sacrifices themselves as much as he sacrificed himself every day for our town and for our school. So again, I'm not here to know why or what happened with him. I'm here to ask when he'll be coming back. Thank you.
Hello, Lisa Kumpf, 32 Folsom Drive. This is the first time I actually get to speak at one of these meetings as a non-employee because I don't work here anymore. It's the first time I've actually felt like I could actually speak my mind because I've never felt like I could actually get up and speak when I was an employee. And I don't know about many other people, but I imagine they also feel the same way. You weren't able to be honest because you were afraid that it was going to affect your job. So I'm not going to reiterate what Nicole and Karen said. I think we all agree that Chris is, he's great at what he does. I worked with him for 6 years. I was there the first day he started. I asked him, how do you know every single person's name here? You haven't even seen them yet. And he said, I pour through the books, and I look at their middle school books, and I look at their elementary school books, and I look at the school they came from, and I find out as much information as I can about each student before they enter the school. And I was so impressed by that. Not many people come into their first day of their job at any new school and know every single kid in that building. And that says it all about Chris. He cares about the kids. Everything that he does is for the kids and the benefit of our community. And though none of us are perfect, and I know he is not as well, I would say that most of us would like to have him on our side. And I can't, as Karen said, I can't stand back there and not stand up here and support him and not and say that, yeah, it's. I think I'm done.
Anybody else?
my name is Cameron Young, and I'm a senior. I'm speaking on behalf of the girls soccer varsity team. I've known Mr. Mazzoni for quite a while now. The entire time I've known him, he's always been someone who's always put students first. I've been on the varsity soccer team for 4 years. Every year that we have made it to the championships, he's always been there supporting us. My freshman year, we made it to the semifinal game, and as the bus was leaving for the game, he surprised our team by having the students come out and send us off. My sophomore year, we ended up making it to the championships. The Friday before the game, he had everyone from the whole school line up in the hallways and cheer us on and wish us luck, which made us feel so supported. My junior year, he did the same thing for both the girls and boys soccer teams, because we both made it. He has been to every single championship game, semifinal game, and most home games, especially the rivalry games. For him to not be able to come to our semifinal or championship game this year was very upsetting because we wanted our biggest supporter there. He has always supported our team, so we are here to show our support for someone who has made the soccer team feel appreciated the most.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much, and we'll proceed with our meeting. First up on the agenda for discussion items is the budget schedule for 2021.
So after some conversation with each of you to check on your availability, we will be having our first budget meeting for 21 on Tuesday, 3 to 7 o'clock at night, and then Saturday, November the 30th, from 9 until noon. Those dates are reflected at the bottom of your page, so you have that as a reminder, and Penny will be posting those meetings.
Susan, is it 3 or 3:30 on Tuesday?
I thought we talked about
3:30.
3:30, okay.
Because I can get there at 3:30.
Okay, 3:30.
3:30.
And everybody else is still good with those dates as well?
I cannot do the Saturday, but feel free to proceed without me. I have another obligation that day.
So then we're on to the, I guess the business reorganization documents.
So in your packet tonight are 3 job descriptions. Currently there are 4 employees who work in the business services department. And we had a resignation. And as a result of the resignation and the great work of Marie, we put together a proposal for how we might want to reorganize so that we are better meeting the needs for our organization in the future. So we just bring before you tonight 3 different job descriptions for your approval so that we can go forward with posting those positions and moving on with hiring.
I have a few questions.
Yep.
So we hear you.
Don't just yelled at me. All right, so I saw that you're looking for an assistant. I just want to understand, is that a full-time position? And
good question. So this would be 3 full-time positions. So instead of having 3 people, they're not all full-time. We would just have 3 full-time people in the office. Yeah.
so you're getting rid of part-time jobs and
the part-time jobs and consolidating, and then
so 3 full-time.
Restructuring so that we have good segregation of duties and coverage for things like some of our HR functions that have not been attended to in recent years. So this would provide us with somebody that would be focused on payroll, benefits, and HR moving forward. You'd have your senior accountant who would do your accounts payable, your grants, and your general ledger, processing your manifests, all of those types of activities. And then the other person would be the one that would be kind of your quasi-treasurer position, though you have one in name. They
Right.
don't perform those roles, so managing your cash book, doing your insurance claims, and, handling any receipts that come into the school district, reporting those, helping with the budget, all those types of things, so.
And
that
is
would
this-
be the third position.
Is this part of that, what's the thing we had when they came in and they checked our books?
Audit.
Audit, thank you. And remember, they were saying that we were spread out too much and people didn't have their roles. This way, now everybody will have their roles. We'll know what everybody's doing and if there's a need, who can meet it.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this restructuring would attend to the issues that you will be seeing as recommendations and deficiencies in the FY19 audit when it is presented to you.
Okay.
I guess my only thought, and this sort of goes into the budget that we're going to start discussing next week, how this realignment fits into that, and I'm sure you'll tell us that next week. And the salary, because you did say in your memo that you will get us the salary ranges.
Yes, so we are going to be getting some, market information, and, I'll share that with you as soon as we have it. The payroll benefits and HR would be the same as it is now, so that wouldn't be any different than what we're currently paying. The other positions where they're all kind of paid different amounts, we just want to see what these positions would be in the market and then be able to, give you the range that's appropriate.
And I think given the fact that we've sort of had the reorganization of the separation of the town finances from the school finances, it's important for us to look at doing things the right way aside from the audit to make sure that we are in line with the way we should be to get things done efficiently and effectively.
I think it's important, especially these days, to have a dedicated HR person.
Well, I mean,
not only to service, administration and staff and all that, but the laws are constantly changing, and you need somebody with some continuity, especially in a public, as a public employer. So.
Yeah, and the majority of our staff is our personnel. Well, the staff is all personnel, but the majority of everything is personnel, and I think we need a dedicated person to really look into that and provide the customer service that our employees deserve.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a few years, the HR person, just because the first day of school, we have new employees, and there's nobody there to help them, or it's overwhelming for whoever is there, so this would help with that.
And would help with that. There still would be some responsibilities that would be shared with the business administrator, the higher level types of things, as well as in the superintendent's office, because you have some separation. So up until and through hiring and the contract, the issuing of contracts, that would still be done through the superintendent's office. But once it comes to onboarding, then that would go over to the HR person. And then if there's any kind of, contract negotiations, that would still be, your business administrator. So there still would be some shared responsibilities, because we wouldn't be able to have, add a full-time HR, but this will give us some clear, some clarity around who's doing what parts of that, and have somebody that can stay, current on laws.
Yep. It's an evolving thing, as Mike said,
Yeah.
and it's important.
HR is a very complex
It is. People.
thing.
Sure is.
So, thank you for putting that together. Thank you too, Marie, for jumping on board and diving right into it.
Thank you.
Okay. So next up in our series, if anybody has any further questions, or we can move on to the article. We've been reading every week, really since August, since we held our retreat, in terms of trying to draft the parameters of how we're going to operate as a board effectively with a superintendent, how you develop sort of a team type of approach. This is another one of those articles. This was going to be Al's article, but since Al is retired, we'll cover this. I'll cover this one. I mean, a lot of it looks familiar. I quibbled with some parts of this article, didn't you, Ken?
Yep.
Yeah, but I do like the notion that they lost me in the first couple pages, but in the last page
They brought it on home.
I came back and to this notion that we're not here just to adopt policies that the DOE hands down to us. We're here to meet this mission of focusing on all of our efforts on child achievement, development, and all that, and communicating with the staff and teachers and the community, and working as a team. I think a lot of boards, in my experience early on this board, is that we kind of detached ourselves from sort of the visionary stuff that needs to take place. So you're working towards a goal. And I think we need to view ourselves as not as a employer of Susan, but a teammate. And so that's the chief sort of takeaway I had from this article. It's in, you know, and really the document that we worked on during our initial our retreat back in, I think it was August, really is all pointed towards that. You know, it's developing protocols for communication, for civil communication, and just sort of, you know, how we're going to operate with each other. That was my big takeaway. It's kind of repetitive to some of the other articles, but Kim, I don't know if you had any.
My only thought was, you know, obviously we have focused so much and putting us in a good direction in terms of open communication, open doors, teamwork, consensus building, and communication between us and the superintendent and us as individual board members. But when it comes to educational expertise, I'm always going to defer to Susan because she is the educational leader of this district. I am not. I'm never going to be because I'm not trained in that way. So it's like, you know, I will always defer to that. Obviously, we'll make reasoned decisions based upon her input, but I'm always going to look to her for the resources.
I agree. I think the different flavor we get from this article compared to the ones that we've been reading is really to encourage us to be more active board members. Mm-hmm. So it's a good reminder that yes, the collaboration and having the roles separate and in which we were working really hard on, but this is like, okay, now you have to be active and evaluate yourself. So I appreciated that.
And I think Susan hit on it during the retreat in terms of us working outwardly into the community and being that liaison between for the district in terms of a role that I think we all do in different ways in different spheres of influence within the town. But if we need to formalize that and make sure that we have a unified message, consistent message, so that we know what we're talking about.
You know, I think it's super important, and it goes back to the sort of the document that we all agreed to, that we decide things in a dispassionate way, based on the facts, not based on rumors.
Right.
You know, not based on pressures, but we take a hard look at factual, and it's all, again, it's based on that notion of improving student outcomes, and that's really what we're here for. So if we should be astray, if we should get off on tangents, and you know, I've seen that in not only here but in other districts where you get off the rails a little bit and you pursue pet projects and do all this. You got to really keep coming back to that thought. Did you have any thoughts, Marty?
No, I pretty much
Welcome
agree.
aboard, by the way.
I know.
First meeting.
You know, I kind of read all of the articles in 5 days.
You're welcome.
They're kind of all jumbled, I know. So just collecting notes on them all. And
The one thing the two articles have talked about is community outreach and how to get people involved in boards.
Yep.
Sitting here, there'll be seats open. Mm-hmm. Feel free at any time. Just put your name out. Sit in these seats. But we have to let people know what our roles are, what the role of a board member is, not just making policies.
Any thoughts?
No, I think you
Captured it all?
captured it all. So.
Okay. Move on. That kind of covered, I think, items D and E. It's in our packet. So in the district goals and related committees that are on our packet as well. I just put them in there. We need to check in on ourselves every once in a while, you know, and make sure that we're mindful of those goals, and we sort of look at those before setting every agenda. I think we're making good progress on those.
I like the fact that it had, you know, our goal, the superintendent's goal, the district goal, the professional goal, all in, so we're all moving in the same direction. We have different parts that we play in the role, in the different goals, but I can see what the junior senior high academic goal is for school improvement, or I like that layout very much.
And I think one of the things that perhaps might be a little different than what may have been done in the past is that we will approach this using kind of an inquiry protocol that invites in stakeholders from different areas to participate in the work. So that's very consistent with this article. It's suggesting, that what we need to do is partner together on some of these important aspects of teaching and learning. And one of the things that we will be doing is sending out a note to parents, giving them a list of the committees that we have that will start up, in full force in January, and invite people who are interested to, put their name in, tell us what they might be interested in participating on, and have them part of the process. Also, some of the committees will have students, and I will work with our student representative to, get the message out there that, we're looking for students to participate on some of these committees as well. So it should be a pretty exciting process, and it will also help to enhance the communication coming, into the school from these other stakeholder groups, as well as then when decisions are made, that they will have the ability to share with their various counterparts, the thinking behind it. We'll be doing some reading and looking at some research and, studies, and so we'll all be learning along the way. So I think that will be a great way to work with the community and teachers and other staff members, as well as the board, to be able to begin to move in the direction that will lead us to high-quality learning experiences for students in the future.
One thing I really, when I first came on the board and we were looking at the facilities thing, the thing I found most beneficial was getting out there. We were at a different point at that time in terms of a district, in terms of a town. There was still a lot of acrimony left over, from prior school votes, and it was actually good to, spend a lot of time one-on-one getting out and meeting people, seeing what was really important to them, understanding their perspectives, which I think were largely misunderstood as part of that leading up to that process. I think it got us to a lot different place. I mean, we had all sorts of opportunities for folks to come in a comfortable setting and express what was important to them. I sat down one-on-one with, I lived at the Bean almost every morning with folks, and you really got to understand what's important to people. And I think as we're getting into this visioning process in a year's time or so, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, being, sort of teamwork is getting out. I mean, that takes time. It takes a lot of, nights and mornings and phone calls, and but it's super important that we do that.
And I think it'll help Mike moving forward in terms of real world assessment of action. Like, we'll have real feedback from real people who are either as students or parents being impacted by whatever it is, and we can see where it's working, where it's not, and I think that'll be a great opportunity.
Okay, so we're on to the action items part of the meeting. First up is approval of the minutes from our November 7th meeting, and those are in your packet. May I have a motion for approval of the November 7th public meeting minutes?
Make a motion to accept the November 7th, 2019 public minutes.
Second.
Any
Corrections, discussion, anything else? If none, all those in favor?
I did have one. This is just a minor point, but I believe there was, I'll have to find the space. Superintendent report. Minor point. On the ALICE training, ALICE is actually acronym.
Yep.
So all caps on that. Yep. That was it.
Got it. Any other changes? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right.
Aye.
On to the approval of the manifest.
Oh. I move that we approve the total law manifests in the, no. I move that we approve the manifest total, no. I move that we approve the total law manifest of $618,842.86. Wow, that was a lot.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. And then next is the, we've talked about it earlier, approval of the business office reorganization. Are there any further questions on that?
Can we hold off on that until we have a number, or do you need it to get the number?
I need to post the position because we'll have
And we'll
nobody in
have
the business office if we don't.
Okay.
Before the person leaves, so.
The idea there, of course, is it at appropriate rate?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
for
I'll just post,
our
that's what I'll
size
post.
Okay.
district,
Yeah.
so.
This is not gonna be like significantly out of the boundaries of what you're paying now.
Right, because you're just
You know what I'm
combining the
saying?
two part-time into,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's not, so we're spending in total just base salary somewhere around $145,000 or $150,000 between all those positions now. I'm not expecting that that's gonna be $200,000 or
Okay.
anything near,
Okay.
Could be a little less, it could be, maybe a little higher than that or something, but it's not gonna be some kind of a huge increase in the amount of money we're spending overall. I just don't know what the right
Right.
hourly rate is to
Right.
post for them because they're not, these aren't positions.
Well, because Rachel's been with us for years, so,
Right. And she's your senior accountant,
Right.
basically, so, yeah, and we don't have the other positions in its current form, so.
Right.
Which is why we're gonna have some deficiencies on the upcoming audit. So we need to attend to this one way or another anyways. And where Rachel's retiring, and I retired a year and a half ago, she really would like to retire.
she retired a long time ago.
Right, so, it just would
Yeah.
be.
She'd like to actually retire.
She'd
would
actually
like to retire,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I know. Then I will make a motion to approve the business office reorganization.
Second.
Any other thoughts or questions? If none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. And then finally, an approval for request of child-rearing leave,
It's actually a maternity leave.
maternity leave.
So we have a faculty member who is pregnant that will be going out on maternity leave after the holidays. Not this holiday, the following one. And, we're actively looking for somebody to fill the position as soon as we accept this approval for the request for maternity leave.
I move that we approve the request for maternity leave.
I'll second.
Any other questions? Great. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That brings us to the end of our action items. I just wanted to make a few comments. I really thank everybody for coming here tonight. I like Chris too. We all do. And you all know us. Every one of us here has one or more kids at that building. So we literally have skin in the game too, okay? But you need to, I think, have a little faith in us. When there's a personnel matter, we're not at liberty to discuss details. We're trying to do the best thing for all folks involved here. And I hope we've built up enough goodwill over the years here with our tireless efforts and our integrity and our transparency that you'll have a little faith and have a little patience as this process plays out. I can't offer any more than that, but I do thank you for coming out and sharing your thoughts with us tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you. We are going to go into non-public. Which leave of absence?
Sure, I'll say. That was the one that should be in the, do you want me to put it on the mics or?
But we got to make a motion first.
You don't have
Leave of
any.
absence.
Can
Can I seek a motion to go into non-public pursuant to RSA 91A:3, 2A?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
We got to do a roll call.
Marty?
Yeah, aye.
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 Ms. Shelton. Ms. Weisel, please.
Aye.
Ms. McKinney.
Aye.
We are in non-public.